today we're going to talk about converting fractions to decimals without a calculator. So we're going to use our knowledge of equivalent fractions to help us go from a fraction to a decimal. So first, the lesson that we talked about the other day was making a decimal when you have a denominator of 10 or a denominator of 100. So what we want to think about is what are some factors of 10? So factors of 10 would be 1, 2, 5, and 10. Factors of 100 would be 1, 100, 2, 50, 4. Uh-oh, I'm going to run out of room. Hold on. 1, 100, 2, 50, 4, 25, 5, 20, and 10. So if we are seeing any denominators that have the factors of either of these numbers, then it's going to be easy to make an equivalent fraction of either 10 or 100. Let me show you what I mean. So if I have a fraction that has the denominator of 20, let's say we have 5/20. Now, I could divide 20 by 2 to get 10, but can I divide 5 by 2? I can't. So I'm going to have to make this denominator 100. So times 5 times 5. So this would be 25 over 100. So if I was going to make a decimal out of that, remember I can just read this, 25 hundredths. Okay, so 25 hundredths would look like that. So this original fraction, 5/20, would look like this as a decimal because we've done our equivalent fraction here. So the same if I have a number like, let's make 4 our denominator. So let's do 3 over 4. So when we look at this, we can't make 4 into 10, but we could make 4 into 100 by multiplying by 25. Think about quarters, right? 4 quarters make $1. So 4 times 25 is 100. 3 times 4, or sorry, not times 4, times 25 would be 75. So now we're able to write our decimal 75 hundredths like that. Okay, so that would be a way to make those two into decimals. Let's say I have 15/50. Okay, I could turn 50 into 100, right? By multiplying by 2. 15 times 2 would be 30. So I could write that as a decimal like this. So 30 hundredths would look like that. Now there's another way to take 15/50 and change it into an equivalent fraction that we can also work with. So I know that I can reduce 50 down to 10 by dividing by 2. Right? Not by 2. Oops. Oops, I have 2 on my mind up here. By 5, there we go, to get to 10. So then the question is, can I divide 15 by 2 also? Yes, 15 divided by 5 would be 3. So I can divide both of these by 5 to be able to get this is 3/10. So these two decimals are equivalent. So that is just 2 different ways that we can use our knowledge of our factors of 10 and factors of 100 to get to our decimal. So for this one, we were able to divide by 5 to get 10, and this one we were able to multiply by 2 to get 100. Okay, let's try another one. Let's do 8/20. Okay, so this one, again, we can do 2 different ways. Okay, one way, we could divide 20 by 2, right? To get to 10. Could I divide 8 by 2? Yeah. 8 divided by 2 would be 4. 4/10 would be written like that. 4/10. I also could make this denominator equal to 100. 20 times 5 would be 100. 8 times 5 would be 40. So we're still going to get, so 40 hundredths would look like that. So that's another way. Sometimes there are two different ways that you could get to either 10 or 100, and that's perfectly fine. These are both equal to each other. All right, let's try another one. How about 7/20? Now with this one, I could get 10 by dividing by 2, but I can't divide 7 by 2 and get a whole number, right? So without it, you can't have a remainder. You can't have a fraction inside of a fraction. So I could multiply this times 5 to get 100. And then 7 times 5 would be 35. So if I read this out loud, 35 hundredths would look like that. Okay. Let's do 9/25. Okay, now I cannot make this denominator into 10, but I could make it into 100 by multiplying by 4. Again, we can think quarters. 25 times 4 is 100. 9 times 4 is 30, or I gotta write my 4 here, sorry. 9 times 4 is 36. So we're gonna end up with 36 hundredths. Okay, so this is how we're gonna use our equivalent fraction knowledge to make a fraction into a decimal, so we don't even need a calculator. Our next lesson is going to be how to do this with a calculator, but for this, I don't want you using a calculator. I want you to use your knowledge of of factors to help you make an equivalent fraction. Okay, let's do one more. And then we'll be done. Let's do 2/5. Okay, now 2/5, probably the easiest way to do this is to get this into 10. So 5 times 2 would be 10. 2 times 2 would be 4. So this would be 4/10. Now, if you really want to, you could make this into 100. So if we did that, so 2/5, if we multiplied this bottom number by 20 and the top number by 20, we would get 40 100ths. So 40 hundredths, again, would look like this. So they would be equivalent, okay? All right, guys, that's the end of the lesson. Head back over to Google Classroom, check out the board notes, and work on the worksheet and the fast check. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop into office hours. I'm happy to do lots more examples with you and work through some problems if you have any questions. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.